Hi, welcome back to Nervape Podcast, the Nervape Podcast, where you hear directly from the Nervape team about the inspiration behind our stories, behind our art, behind all the cool things that we're building directly from the team itself. My name is James, Nervape James. I'm the community manager, and here I'm joined with the founder of Nervape, Echo. Hi, Echo.
Hi, this is Echo.
How are you doing today?
Good.
So, in the last episode, we talked about story number one, the an unexpected encounter, and we're moving on to story number two. As I mentioned in the previous podcast, the way that these Nervape Saga podcasts will work is that we'll do a reading of the story first, and then I'll go ahead and bring Echo in to do a Q&A about the story and some of the inspiration behind the imagery and the characters in the story. And then looking forward, we're looking to read more stories and also bring in the writers that help with writing the stories. And also outside of the story kind of series that we have for this podcast, we'll be doing interviews with interesting guests in the Web3 storytelling media space. So yeah, so that's the plan for the Nervape podcast. So well, good morning, you all anyone listening now. You're early to the podcast, and we're looking forward to sharing this journey of building this podcast and the Nervape project together with the community. Awesome. So we'll go ahead and start with the reading of story number two. Echo, do you want to say anything before we start?
Oh, I'm good. Thank
Okay,
you.
great. I'll go ahead and bring you in after the reading. So let's go ahead and start with the reading of The Escape. Before we start, I'll read the blurb, the tagline for this story. This is chapter 1, Factories of Broken Dreams. Story number 2, The Escape. An explosion prompts Dev to make a life-changing decision. Will he stay or will he leave? The Escape. Dev instinctively held his arms out to shield himself. Boom! Dev tumbled backwards in his chair and hit the floor. Alarms blared in his ear. Dev's eyes flew open. He was in the system control room of the chocolate banana factory where he worked. A blast ripped through the factory, and the factory floor was in chaos. Worker apes ran in terror and confusion. As he glanced at the laptop on the floor, he noticed a fatal error he made while configuring the machine's system. The mistake caused the machines to perform over their limits and resulted in an explosion. As Dev watched this unfold in complete horror, a robotic voice rang through the PA system following a small jingle. All worker apes, head back to your quarters immediately. We repeat, all worker apes must head back to your quarters immediately. We will announce when all workers can return to their stations once the machinery is fixed. Dev got up immediately and unplugged his laptop. He held the device close to his chest as he rushed toward the door leading to the hallway. Does anyone know? This was all his fault. As Dev turned the corner to start down the staircase, he heard rushed voices above and crouched down to hide. Stomp, stomp, stomp. 3 huge, armored, muscular apes stormed alongside a suited ape. Warrior apes. Each one looked as though it could pick Dev up with 2 fingers. The boss ape appeared irate as he crossed his arms against his expensive suit. Tens and thousands of dollars in losses. Only the developers know how to configure the system. Find that ape and make him pay. Dev cowered as they marched past. He couldn't go back to his room now. I've got to get out of here. Dev worked his way quickly down the many corridors. After working here his whole life, he knew this factory inside and out. Reaching the back door, Dev took out his laptop to pull up the system control panel yet again. He took a deep breath. This was his only chance, and if he fails, he may be caught and locked away forever. Dev closed his eyes, and the visions from the dream appeared just as vivid and magnificent as the first time. The cosmos twirled above his head, and he felt the warmth of the light from the monolith shining on his face. Dev opened his eyes. He felt a renewed sense of determination and confidence in what he was about to do next. He typed the code quickly and hit enter. The locks beeped and released. There was only 30 seconds. Jumping through the laser detectors, he slipped through the metal doors with a second to spare. He was out. A light breeze stroked his forehead. A banana plantation surrounded the chocolate banana factory, and a river stretched ahead. As he had no time to admire the outside views, Dev ran to the dock next to the factory where shiny yellow jet boats floated on the river. Banana boats, also known as bee boats. Two guard apes stood next to the bee boats, keeping watch. One yawned and the other was in the midst of playing tic-tac-toe by himself with a stick on the ground. Dev approached them. Hey, haven't you both heard? All apes need to retreat to the quarters immediately. The guard stared blankly at Dev until Dev put on his best intimidating face. Do I need to repeat myself? Retreat to the quarters, now, hurry. The guard dropped his stick and trudged towards the factory door. The second guard sleepily followed suit. Seeing that the guards were fully gone, Dev jumped on a bee-boat without hesitation and revved up the engine. The bee-boat blasted away and off he went. Dev turned his eyes to the monitor. The chocolate banana factory appeared on the back camera view, looking like a stack of metal towers. What once was his whole world now appeared so small and foreign to him as he sped away further and further. Out of nowhere, the sound of a second engine roared through the river. A white ape and his Shiba dog were rapidly gaining speed on their own bee boat, coming after Dev. The dog snarled and barked as the white ape hurriedly steered the boat. Dev pushed the turbo button on the bee boat. His hands were placed firmly on the steering wheel. He was not going to give up. If this is going to be a boat race, bring it on. And we end with there's a emoticon of an ape, orangutan, I think, and a bee boat and a laptop. All right, awesome. Cool. So that's the end of story 2, The Escape. Yay.
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 And we have new ape here.
We have a new ape introduced, yes, towards the end of the story. And we also get a better sense of the world. So yeah, just for our new listeners to this podcast, if you haven't already, check out our first one, story number 1, where we do a reading of the Nervape Saga, story 1 on an unexpected encounter. That story ends with a big dragon flying straight towards Dev, and then we see that it was and he wakes up here in this story. So so for this story, first thing I want to start and ask Echo is like, okay, so in the first podcast we talked about how you started building this story with your team and also with the writer and also his co-writer. And for what was for the second story, what was we'll start with the big picture. Like for the second story, what was your goal for writing the second story? So first story, you kind of introduced this kind of cool third continent dream. And in the second story, what did you want to do?
The second story, we wanna show what the dev's daily life, what dev's struggling from, why he wanna break out the daily life, why he has that big dream. So the second story is more detailed and back to the real world.
So his ordinary world, his ordinary life, right? Okay.
Yeah.
And in this story, we get a look into the world that he lives in. So in the beginning, the first story we see kind of it's like kind of very dreamy, but here I guess if you're going to use like art terminology, the first world is kind of like vivid colors and dreamy like, but then in this story, it's kind of like gray and like kind
Dark,
of
yeah.
dark, monotone. uh, what's kind of the inspiration behind this world, you think? So I guess the first world's kind of like third continent, like a dream place, but then this world, what is your inspiration for this world?
Yeah, actually, if people know, we have three different chapters.
Hmm.
Actually, each chapter represents a kind of bad system.
Hmm.
Maybe somebody is experience this kind of thing right now, and maybe if you are lucky, you are not. I wish you are lucky. But like for first chapter, we represent an unequal factory system, like lots of work but little pay.
Ah, so
Yeah, so
hmm.
yeah, the dev and the rookie comes from this world, and they try to break all this old system and build their new system. So because the story is about courage, about breakout, about like try to find a new way.
Hmm.
So like we need to find what the old system that they want to break out. So the first chapter is about like the unequal factory system.
Right. It's called Factories of Broken Dreams, right? This
Yeah,
first section of the Nervape Saga. Yeah.
yeah.
Mm. So in the second story of the first chapter, I guess you're bringing the readers into, okay, why is Dev dreaming? And why does Dev want to get out of this kind of system is, and you give a sense of it with like the boss apes and the warrior apes, I guess. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Mm.
So we
And
build like banana factory.
banana, yeah, chocolate banana factory.
Yeah.
Fun fact, if people don't know, that's like a also a channel in our Discord where you post like cool wallpapers and stuff, right?
Yeah.
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 Yeah, so chocolate banana factory. So for this world building, for this factory world, so it makes chocolate bananas for like just people or like rich people, or I'm just kind of curious about like uh this 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 what kind of world is it? Is it like everyone's working and then everyone's just producing chocolate bananas for like rich people, or like what's going on in this world?
Yeah, like everybody is working hard. They create chocolate banana for the rich people and for the boss to sell their products.
Mm. So it's kind
Mm.
of like everyone's overworked, I guess.
Yeah,
Uh
so that's
factories.
why Dad's sleeping in his working time.
I see. Yeah, he's overworked. I guess for the explosion, I guess no one gets hurt, right? It's more just like
Yeah, no
yeah.
one.
No, okay, good, good. I when I read that, I was like, oh no, I hope no one
Yeah,
gets
we
hurt.
don't want too much in it. Yeah,
And it's not, yeah, we're not that dark yet. I guess
yeah,
just a little, it gets a little bit darker later, but
yeah.
for this the dev, he makes an interesting choice, right? He leaves the factory, but he's been there his whole life, right? And
Mm-hmm.
I find that very, first that's very, courageous, like you mentioned, courage. But I'm also curious, like, hmm, that's a very hard choice to make, especially if your whole life, even how some people, they, even though they might not like the job they are in, it's comfortable, right? They
Mm-hmm.
work in the job for many many years, especially like in Japan, like it's very common. I don't know if it's the same in other Asian countries, but it's common to like work for the same company for many years. And
Mm-hmm.
and I've talked to many Japanese people, and I asked them, "Hey, do you like your job?" Like, it's whatever.
For
So
life.
it's like, yeah, yeah. I mean, so my question is, for Dev making this decision, uh, like why do you think he makes this choice? And also, if you were Dev, like, would you would you make the same choice? Yeah.
I wish I can like Dev can make this decision because it need a lot of courage and dare to break out because you don't know the result, right? But in the story, we also want to encourage people like it's never too late. If you're really very sad, you are in an uncomfortable situation, maybe you can try to break through. If you don't try, you won't know the result. Even if you fail, it's still a good learning process.
So good. A learning experience, learning process for instead of just being stuck, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, so if you were in that, were you ever, so sorry, personal question, but were you ever in a similar situation before?
Yes. Actually, for me, start Nervape is a way for me to break through the bad situation.
Oh, interesting. Okay. So in a
Yeah.
way, a little bit of dev, you have a little bit of dev actually.
Yeah. And actually, we did a lot of user. It's not user. Like talk with the developer in the old company.
Yeah.
They give us a lot of stories. So they are breaking some old system. They are building some new system. That's their struggling, and that's their they are what they are doing to help them to go break through the bad situation. So my personal feeling like even they are not talkative person, but they actually built some cool stuff to help them also have this world to make it better.
In a way, I guess, because you mentioned that they're working in Web3 or blockchain, right? With new
Yeah.
technology, yeah. So, break. I think people who are in this space, for many people who are familiar with this space, right? It's very volatile. It's kind of scary to go into this new space. But I think, yeah, there's a reason why I think people are breaking into like Web3 because they see the potential for it. And also maybe they're not happy with the old system, right? Or Web2,
Yeah.
or yeah.
I know there are a lot of news about like bad story in cryptocurrency,
Yeah.
blockchain. But for me, this technology is truly what I love and I truly believe it. So yeah, I wish people can see the technology and can use this technology to build more good stuff.
I mean, speaking on like so let's yeah, if we can talk a little bit about that, what makes you hopeful and passionate about like Web3 or blockchain technology? In the news it has kind of a negative connotation, negative like people have negative feelings about crypto or NFT, but for you it sounds like you're passionate. What's I guess informing that passion? Yeah.
Mm, because I love like your personal it can help to protect your personal information. But for public information, nobody can change it or delete it. That's what I love.
So it protects your privacy, but at the same time, everything is recorded on the chain. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
For the that makes me think about going back to the monolith. We see the mon. He talks about the monolith again. I
Yeah.
know you mentioned it was inspired by a movie. For you, what does the monolith mean to you? So you sometimes see monolith in movies. You also see it in like an anime, like Evangelion. Like, what does this monolith mean to you?
The monolith means the blockchain technology. So
Ah,
everybody can write the can use it to record the information, but nobody can change it.
So in a way, the monolith is like the promise of
Yeah,
blockchain. Okay.
to represent truly the news. The news is not like can change or deleted by anybody.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, so then let's talk a little bit about the imagery here. We have warrior apes, we have boss apes, we have bee boats, very cool stuff happening here. Can you tell us a little bit about these kind of imagery? So let's start with the apes, the warrior apes and the boss apes. Well, what's kind of inspiration behind these new kind of apes that you're introducing?
Uh, Warrior Apes is one of our character. So
Hmm.
we hope our characters can represent people with different personalities. We feel that everyone is important in this world and their unique personality are interesting.
Hmm.
So we start from our team. Like in our team, we all have different personality, right?
Yes, yeah.
So it's the direct way to use their personality to represent the more people like this person. So actual warrior apes, we got inspiration from our 3D designer.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, like he like to do technical stuff and
Right.
build the toys, build the tools, but not talk team,
Ah, I see. Okay. Maybe
right?
like,
It's
yeah.
yeah. So this water is inspiration from him and from this kind of people.
I learned this word recently, island, right? Like
Yeah, yeah.
I person or
Uh,
introverted person. I
I
as in
prefer.
yeah. uh island means person in Chinese. Yeah. So I know yeah, in our last meeting you all taught me this new word. So
Yeah,
yeah.
like rookie is definitely the E person, right?
Oh, you mean a cookie, right? All right, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess he is more E. We have a glimpse of him, but yeah. For Oh, interesting. Warrior Apes is represented. I did notice in the last, I saw like the group photo last time. I said, "Wow, actually, our 3D designer, he has some pretty strong looking legs. I don't think I've seen him wear shorts before." And I was like, "Wow."
Uh-huh.
So it makes sense that he's also a warrior ape. Yeah. Um, let's see, the boss apes. Yeah, I guess the boss ape kind of represents like the maybe factory
Mhm.
oppression, I guess, or yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Um, and then so we have bee boats, we have bee books. I guess the bee just means banana.
Yeah.
Okay, and then bee boats. Any thoughts behind the imagery here and like creating the like this boat chase? You just thought it was fun, or
Yeah.
we come up with that idea?
The B boat and B book, they are all the item NFT.
Ah,
Yeah, we start actually the first we have the B boat and the B book, and then we start this story.
oh, so those items were created even before the story.
Yeah. So
Um,
we want to give our apes like tools that they can uh escape.
right.
So we designed the B boat for them, and the B book they can use to use their technology to build new stuff. So the B boat and B book we have them firstly, and then we put them in our story.
Ah, got it. Okay. And then from what I understand from the 3D NFTs will be customizable and they could like you could add they can have like a B book or B boat. Is that correct?
Yes, and
Ah,
we the first we hope that if we can build a game, the character need to have tools to go through different worlds. So they have to have a big boat, then they can travel or meet friend or like escape. So this is their tool that in their world.
so like looking, big picture or looking ahead, maybe they might need this item for travel in a metaverse of some or kind of like
Yeah,
Web3 game, I guess. Okay.
yeah.
Awesome. All right. So we're left at the end of the story with like a image of a white ape. I guess can we say the white ape's name now, or should we wait till
Yeah,
the yeah.
we can actually.
Yeah, so that's Cookie with his Shiba Inu dog Chip. They're chasing Dev. So it's curious, like for the story writing. So going back to like story writing, it seems like the team is very good about leaving kind of with like a exciting cliffhanger, like an ending of the story. Is that something that you think is important for the storytelling experience? Is that something you introduced, or you always leave with like a little cliffhanger?
Yeah, that's all is idea.
Oh,
And is very good at leaving ending and have
uh,
let people think what's the next story or what's the episode. So they are very good at it. Yeah, I really appreciate.
right. Yeah, yeah. I think it makes us want to read more and gets us more
Yeah,
engaged. Yeah, yeah.
and
Uh,
interesting for me to read their story.
oh, really? What's gonna happen next?
Yeah,
Yeah.
even though I already know the start and ending, I still curious to read every story they are finishing. It's for me, it's really interesting. It's a little different like what I thought, but it's much more good than what I saw.
I guess yeah, that's a cool thing about collaboration, right? Yeah, it's like
Yeah,
it's the other person brings maybe something more, something even maybe even better or different than what you originally thought. Yeah.
yeah.
For the final comments about the start of the Nervape Saga. So we finished the first two episodes, story one, story two, and now it looks like Dev has made the decision to break out, and now he's being chased by this white ape named Cookie. Uh, so how do you have any thoughts about the start of the Nervape Saga and where it goes from here? Like, what are your for you, how is this beginning of the Nervape Saga for you? And then how do you feel like, do you think it, for people who are interested in the story, like, uh, what do you hope that they get from the story? Starting out, maybe we get a little bit of an idea of what the story is
Mhm.
about, but what do you hope readers get from the story? Yeah.
This story is a small but warm story. The
Hmm.
apes in here, they met new friends. They go through new stuff. They experience new places. So I wish that if audience love the story, I wish they can find courage in the story, and they can treat themselves truly in their daily life. And if we can give them more courage, more happiness, I will be very happy with it.
Ah, very nice. Okay, great. I think that's a great way to end this podcast. So thank you so much, Echo, for sharing your time with us on the Nervape podcast. And hopefully we'll speak again soon. Yeah.
Thanks, James.
Awesome. Okay. So that's the ending of story two. And then we'll continue with the readings of the Nervape Saga of story three, four, and onwards. And hopefully we'll also get we plan to also have more guests on the Nervape podcast and also speak directly to the team as well. So thank you everyone for your time. And until the next episode. See you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.